What's up, H5? It's Mr. Hildebrandt again. Day 2 of Soundtrap. So, let's see what we left off with last time. I may have changed a couple things around, but we got my string part here for the melody. Let's listen to that. It's pretty cool. Very spooky. Little minor melody thing going on there. Awesome. Alright, now let's check out the bass part I got going on. Cool. Very techno. Here's the looks like a chord, a harmony part that I have going on. Oh yeah, very dance party. And finally, the drum part that I created myself. Here's the drum part. All right, now let's check out that drum part. Make sure we like it. We hit the snare drum here. And we go over to patterns, and now we can see the part being played out as it goes along. Following this dot right here. Boom. If I want to change something, like get rid of that splashy sound, I like that. And we're going to add a crash on beat 1. Crash. Maybe we'll add 1 open hi-hat. Yeah. Great. So, I'm going to unsolo the track. All right. Here, yeah. And let's listen to the whole thing all together. So, I don't know about you, but I feel like the drums are a little loud. So, I'm going to start changing some of the individual volumes of each part. All right, I want less drum. So I go over here to volume. I'm going to hold down the click, and you see those arrows pop up. And if I drag down, the volume goes down. And if I drag up, the volume goes up. Listen to the difference when to the whole thing when I change the volume of the drums. Very quiet right now. Very loud. So I'm going to put it right here in the middle. Now, I want to hear that bass part a little bit more. The melody is the most important. That's kind of more of the mix I want. Now, if you'll notice, the song kept playing over and over and over again. It was what's known as looping. All right, it's repeating. The way this works is it's this blue sign right up here. All right, if it's selected, then it's going to loop, and you'll know it because the arrows are pointing inwards. Okay, you could also hit it here with the magnet sign. The corkscrew sign. So if that's on, then it's going to keep on looping. All right. So now that I've created an 8-bar loop, I want to think about a B section, right? So this is how a lot of songs work. They'll have 2 sections, sort of an A section and a B section, a verse and a chorus, something to kind of go away from our original part. So I'm going to move our cursor here to where I left off at the 9th bar, the 9th measure. And now I'm going to start adding new tracks, all right? So again, I go over to the loop station, and I'm going to use one of their drum beats. Now I want something different. My last drum beat was very active. So, very high energy. So let's look at and try to find a more chill drum beat to give a little contrast. So let's check, I think Anthem. That's also pretty high energy. It's pretty busy. What about this one? Yeah, that's nice. It's got way less going on, a little less busy. That'll do well for us. So I double click that. Now, it added it in the same section as our first loop. So we're going to want to take this and drag it to our new place in the song. Okay. So now we're on bar 9. And now every single time we add a new track, it's going to automatically add it to wherever this cursor is. Okay. So next part is the bass. I'm going to search for some bass parts. Let's see. My old bass part was... It's very technical, very machine-oriented. I want something a little more natural. Sounds like a real bass player playing it. Definitely not. Now, you're probably having trouble hearing this. Remember, my laptop speakers are not going to play the bass very loudly. How about bluesy walking? It's pretty busy, but I do like the natural sound. I like all four of those, but I'm going to add bass part 1. So again, I'm going to drag this over to bar 9. Okay. Let's see what our piece sounds like so far. That's very cool. That'll work for me. Great. So I'm going to put the cursor back to bar 9. All right. I'm going to go to loop, and now I need a melody section. So let's type in melody. Okay. Not a lot of examples. Remember, I'm looking for something a little more natural this time. So why don't I think of a natural instrument? Like a trumpet is a natural instrument. That's played by people. Funky trumpet. Huh. Ah, pretty cool. Very Bruno Mars. Oh, I like those long tones. Let's go with that. Okay, so again, I'm going to drag that over. And let's check in and make sure everything sounds good together. Very cool. I like it a lot. It's really happening. All right, and we'll just need one more track, some kind of harmonic instrument to plug it all together. Again, I need a natural instrument, so I know that the guitar, ooh, excuse me. I know that the guitar plays chords, so I'm going to type in guitar, and I'm looking for something very chill, and ooh, acoustic guitar would be great. How about Pop Soft 1? Ooh. That could work. Let's go with it. All right, once again, drag it over, and let's see what everything sounds like together now. That guitar part does not work for me. I'm sorry to say. I'm gonna delete that. One more time, undo. If I want to delete a track, if I don't like it one bit, I go over here to the track, and I press these 3 dots, and it gives me all these options. I could rename it. Instead of guitar, I could call it super guitar. All right, I could duplicate it if I want to create a copy of it. But in this case, I want to delete it because I don't like it. It doesn't work for me. How about this Aussie sound? It's cool. It's very cool. In fact, I like it so much, I'm going to favorite it, press this little heart. I'm going to use it later, but I don't want to use it now. But now, if I ever want to look at it again, I press only favorites, and there it is. No, I need something that's very chill. Maybe guitar is the wrong way to go. Maybe I need a different instrument that plays chords, like a piano. Ooh, that's pretty cool. Let's see what that sounds like. Just drag it over, and here's our song. I especially like the way that this new piano part matches the bass part. Let's solo those 2 parts so we can hear them together. They have the same pulse, that same 8th note. Da, 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 da. Okay, very cool. So one more time, let's listen to our B section all together. I'm going to unsolo the tracks. So now all I hear are the 4 tracks, and here we go. Ooh, that's pretty cool. Very cool. Now, that gives a nice contrast with our first section. You know, in the last video, however, I mentioned that we want to start creating our own parts and getting away from Soundtrap's parts that they've already created for us. And I'm thinking this bass part, as cool as it is, we can probably do something that fits our song even better. So what am I going to do? I'm going to mute the bass part. All right? I don't want to hear their bass part. I want to add something new. Guitar and bass. Okay. Now, here you'll see the keyboard. All right? Like the keyboard you'll play in class. And you'll see each note is labeled with a letter or a number. So if I were to press the letter Z, it plays a low C, C3. If I press the letter N on my keyboard, All right. Alternatively, I can just click them. If you have a Chromebook, you could even touch them, and they would also make the same sound. So let's change the sound here to a bass. I want an acoustic bass acoustic. That means it's not electronic. I like the upright bass. I do like that a lot. So now I have the upright bass, and I press the C, or I click it. The reason why I'm pressing C is because when you create your own part like this, it's very important that you look here at the key, all right? And it says C minor. That means everything that's being played right now is in the key of C minor. Now, if we want to change that key, we can double click this, and we can change to whatever key we want. If we want everything to be in D major. So in this case, let's change everything to A minor. Now, the computer is going to adjust everything we created and adjust it to A minor. All right, now that's A minor, let's listen to it again. Okay, everything's in A minor now. So now that A minor is my note, I'm going to, instead of playing Z's, I'm going to be playing N for the A note. So what I'm playing along with this track, I'm going to be playing A's. And I can use whatever rhythm I like. I can have just like the rhythm I had before. But it's really important that I hit the A, because the A is the most important note. If I want to play any other note besides A, I could play Q, or the E note, or I could play C. The reason why is because A, C, E spell the A minor chord that we see right here. So again, my bass part is going to be mostly A's with a little bit of C and E thrown in there for fun. So to set up our recording, we're going to first move our label right here to beginning of our track. We're going to turn this letter R on, make it red, they say in the industry. That means it's ready to record. And we're going to hit this button right here, the metronome. We're going to turn it on. Okay. And now the metronome is on. We're going to set the count in to 2 bars. Let's raise that metronome volume. The metronome is going to be our steady beat. It's going to be a clicking sound that allows us to know how fast to play. So once we've done that, we're ready to go. We get set up. I'm going to play A's, E's, and C's. And when we're ready to record, we just hit this record button. It's going to give us 2 bars of count in. Each bar has 4 beats, so you're going to hear 2 times 4, 8 beats of count in. Here we go. 5, 6, here we go. And then I stop it. Let's close out of this menu, and there is the track that we just created. Let's listen to what I sound like. Oops, excuse me. Turn off the metronome. Move the cursor back. Let's press play. All right. Not a bad first take. So let's clean it up a little bit. First, I'm going to move this here, make sure it only occurs within the 8 measures like everything else. To do that, I don't use the loop function. I drag down here to where I get the edit function, and I drag that over, and there it is. So, unsolo the track, move the cursor, and I press play, and this is what everything sounds like together. Raise the volume of the bass. All right, very cool. So now I've created a 2-section song, an A section and a B section, and I've used the loops that Soundtrap has given me with a combination of some of my own ideas, replacing the bass part. Next week, or next lesson I should say, we're going to replace some of the other parts, including the melody and we've already included the drums, and we're going to change the harmony, all right, so the chords, all right? So before we leave you, most important step, you got to title the song. Now, for our songs, we're going to be putting in our name, okay? So for this case, if your name is Jonathan, you put in your name, Jonathan, or you could put in Sally, or you could put in Madison, whatever your name is, and then the title of the song. So I'm going to put in Hildebrandt Test Song 1. Hit save. And we're done. All right, H5, this is Mr. Hildebrandt signing off. Have fun.